my opinion, the only person that's allowing people to be aware of it. Because Gary Vee, what he's doing is smart. Like he's doing collaborative work,
with all the
collaborative
artists.
marketing.
Yeah,
like he's doing YG. He's meeting up with Tay Grizzly. Yeah. So shout out to Gary Vee. Never got a chance to meet the dude. Mr. Ruben Harris. Soon we will. Same thing with Nipsey Hussle.
Absolutely with Nipsey Hussle.
And what I want to figure out. So how did that whole podcast laid out? It looked like you guys had it. You told me off camera that you guys had to make some moves in order to make that podcast happen.
Yeah. So it started off with Sequoia Blodgett from Black Enterprise in New York. There was a round table. With Gary Vee and a bunch of CEOs that were just talking about what's going on with their different companies. And we just were listening, like getting his feedback about the things that we were working on. And long story short, in New York, he essentially was just like, well, I want to help you all. Let me know how I can help. People started giving out different opinions about how to do it. And then, I essentially asked him if he could do a podcast. And he was like, all right, cool. Follow up, let me know. We could do it in the fall.
Yeah.
This was like earlier in like spring or winter. It's somewhere on Facebook on Black Enterprise. And then I sent the email literally the next day, early morning, on my way back to the next thing, and then no response. So I kept following up, no response. Well, there was actually a response. They were like, "Oh yeah, we'll do it," but it kind of like was like,
prolonging.
Yeah, they're busy. It's all good. It's all good. But it's a normal thing. Same thing happens to me when people email me. Sometimes I'm too busy. But anyway. There was an opportunity where he was coming to speak at Draper University, and I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, well, since you're going to be here, why don't we just like set up the podcast?" And then Archer and Timor, they brought out the video team, and then we recorded it and did it live and had Sequoia and everybody there, and it was dope.
Bro, it went viral.
Oh,
you blew it up, bro. It went viral a couple times.
Yeah,
like I reposted it. I didn't even know it was you.
And there's a lot of clips that we haven't even like chopped up.
No, I noticed that because I noticed I've only seen clips like the ones
like you saw the ones that I put up last night about like legacy and karma and all that.
Yeah,
that
was a whole other conversation that I couldn't find on the internet when I was looking for it.
Yeah,
man. So and it was crazy because when I met you, I was just all hyped up the fact that you even interviewed Gary Vee. I was like, dude, you interviewed Gary Vee. I got his shoes. I don't got them right now, but I got his shoes. I got his book. And he's like, honestly, bro, I've interviewed people way bigger than Gary Vee. And I was like, damn, like for real, like what does that mean? Like
still love to Gary Vee.
No, it's always love. Hey, honestly though, never mind. I'm not gonna diss Gary Vee. Gary Vee's the one. But the point I'm making is like, on my perspective,
for my audience,
for
sure. When it comes to tech, Gary Vee is definitely important because he talks a lot about entrepreneurship and how to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But my podcast is not focused on becoming an entrepreneur.
Of course.
Most people are focused on everything is like everybody wants to be a VC or an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And I think the issue with that is like you haven't learned the game yet.
Yeah.
A lot of people haven't spent time working within the companies and getting the skills that we talked about
before
it made a lot of
sense
on their own. That's
it
why we work I've been out of work for 7 years. I mean, I've been working for 7 years, and I just started to take the plunge to go on my own. Like I wanted to learn the game and really get the science down. Not just in tech. I was an investment banker for 3 years. Like I organized hackathons. I was like doing a bunch of different things. And so anyway, when I said there's more relevant people, those are more like people that are on point for my audience. Just like you have people for your audience.
Yeah. And it's crazy because, like, for the people that don't know, the podcast, he has it on SoundCloud. So, I'm driving to work, I'm listening to it. And, like, there's some of these stories, they were, like, no different from, like, people that we've interviewed. Like Cam, Sharif, Big Mike. Like, when these people, everyone knows them through their influence and what they do. But I don't remember the individual's name, but I remember he was a Dominican. And he grew up in Bronx. And he talked about how, the environment he grew up was, like, a Crip neighborhood. And, like, basically, he's always getting fights and deal with issues and... Now he's the founder, and I'm like, bro,
he's the same COO of the company, and he just started a new company. So
he's and I think it's amazing too because Latino, you know what I mean? I feel like that's important too because I feel like people's perception, obviously, statistically, minorities are the lowest demographic in technology companies. I feel like from Facebook, from my resource that I've looked into, like lower than 5%, 10%. And I think that was amazing. That story.
Yeah, he got the Hispanics in Philanthropy Award. He's the one who helped. I mean, when he helped start Hustle, he took it from 0 to 3 million, got me involved, and like we worked together, brought it from 3 to 10 million, and now they're like almost at like 15 plus million in like 2-3 years. So one of the fastest growing companies in Silicon Valley. Most of the company, I think it's like over 50% female. I don't have all the stats on me now, but it's like one of the most diverse companies out there, and it says a lot about who you have in leadership to be able to recognize talent that's not traditional. Because if you didn't go to a certain school or grow up in a certain neighborhood, it's hard to identify a talent. So.
Yeah, and I think that just applies like just in general. Like right now with people going to school and then they get into degrees, and everyone has to be at a certain level of credibility just to even put their foot in that space. Mm-hmm. And I feel like growing up, for me, speaking from my perspective, it's been kind of difficult to obtain those resources or to put yourself in that situation because of the circumstances, what we deal with on a economic basis, just our environment. Mm-hmm. So like, I think that was just really deep. Like, it wasn't deep. It was just really impactful, the message, because I feel like if they can do it, they're the same. They come from where we come from. I can resonate to that.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's also important to like identify your people. So like, what if you knew all the people from San Jose that are working inside of these tech companies, those that grew up in your neighborhood that also were Latino? They're probably people that are down to help you learn how to the game, right, and hold you accountable. Like some of the things that we're talking about when it comes to sales. And since most of these jobs are offline and come through referral, a lot of times they're willing to put their reputation on the line to get you in, which will make sure that people ignore anything that it says on your resume because of the weight of whoever that was that made it through. But if you're not ready, that person can guide you and show you the plan to get in. But the problem is people don't know where they are, right? Because all the profiles look the same. Yeah. All the resumes look the same. Yeah. But if you see how someone got there and who helped them along the way, it tells a very different story.
Huge difference.
We're showing them those layers. We're building that community. We're watching and see.
No, I agree because it could, like, just in a small analogy, because I can relate to that. Like, when I was 18 years old, I went to go look for a job. I went to go apply at Foot Locker, Champs, like just these retailers. I was into sports. I played football. So I was trying to apply all these retailers. But I passed by a kiosk. It was a Sprint kiosk, right? And I was like, oh, these guys are some weirdos. I'm not going to apply there. And I was my friend. All the places didn't even give me an interview. They said that they were good, even though they said they were hiring. And it was because of my resume, though, because I had no experience. But when I went to the kiosk, keep in mind, my resume, I put that I used to help my aunt at the flea market. I don't know why I put that, but that was the only experience that I had because that was sales, right? Oh, it was goofy on my end. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's not goofy.
But the guy that ended up hiring me, I ended up being a Pinnacle Club winner every year. Started being number one every month. Started really making some decent money working there. But that all came because someone gave me the opportunity. Because
you were a hustler. But not just because someone gave you the opportunity, but because you knew how to finesse what you did before. Like, a lot of times if you, like, are organizing these podcasts, you're the founder of a media company with a team of, 15 people, broken down by these different departments, right? With a goal of this, you put out this many podcasts, reaching this many people, making this much money. Organize this many pilots, whatever. You can just put it into whatever bullets. And you can do the same thing if you run a bake sale, if you run a lemonade stand, if you run an operation that's providing good for the people, same thing. You just got to write it down on paper in a way that other people are going to understand. Same issues that veterans have that have been leading teams of hundreds of people that can fire rounds, that like can do all kinds of athletic things. A lot of times they get rejected by companies. And the company's telling them that they don't know how to lead teams. But I was like, bro, I led 100 people. I carried people on my back. People died. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I agree.
It's just people that just don't know how to communicate.
Teach people the skills. Teach them how to get in their level.
But even if you have the skills, you got to know how to speak it in a way so that they understand that you have the skills. Because a lot of times you only have like 30 seconds, 2 to 5 minutes to even communicate that you have the skills or what you're trying to build. And if people don't understand it, it's over for you. That's happened to me a lot of times. I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm going to achieve. I know what I'm capable of. But if I don't communicate it well, it's not going to work. If you don't communicate it well, your team's not going to follow you.
No, that's facts. And that's the whole thing about growing Emlyn too, because I've been doing this for 3 years, but it still feels like every single day I'm learning more and more. I'm connected with different people. Meeting you and meeting other people that I consider mentors have really angled my perspective. Like what was it, 3-4 weeks ago? I want to say, look, so Way, you started doing the boomstick with us I want to say like 4 or 5 weeks ago. And Markel and I, we linked up like 2 months ago. What's up? And Omar, I just met, like we met last week, and Tori and Nick and Haley, I'm sorry. Haley. We just met 2-3 days ago. You know what I'm saying? Like, but the thing is, like, everybody, we have this chemistry because we're like-minded. We have the same ideal approach we want to take.
And like we met 2 weeks ago. And then I think Omar, we got connected to through Iris, who we got connected to when she listened to all of our podcasts. We helped her find like the programs, the scholarships, the housing, like a lot of stuff. And now she on her own, like just it was a collaboration thing, and now she's like killing it at MailChimp from being in Florida, being a teacher.
Yeah,
it's possible. Similar to like even the music industry, right? There's like when you have this like exclusive, inclusive. Like a lot of times when we've broken into the music industry and we got like our money and we're established, like you don't want to let your other people in. Even when they have talent. There's some people that are way more talented than people that are already in.
Yeah.
Why do you want to keep them out? So that's why a lot of times I talk about like the tech industry versus the music industry or the similarities between them. And there's a lot of things that we can do. So like I'm not trying to knock the people that went to Stanford that are
of course not. Yeah.
Or Latino. I'm just saying like there's things that I feel like as people we have responsibility to help other people. We've all been given gifts, and it's very important for us to share those gifts in the world to make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Now that sounds very altruistic, but like it's sinful to bury your talents and just keep it for yourself, in my opinion. And I grew up in the church. I grew up in Atlanta. So I'm preaching right now.
No, hey, I hear you preach all day, bro. We love it. And but what I feel like also the message behind that is freedom. Freedom. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like working in retail, I haven't celebrated Thanksgiving and Christmas for more than 3 hours. You know what I mean? Every year has been the same thing, and we kind of got used to it. Like that's the culture that we grew up in. But I mean, the American system has only been existing for how many years now? Like 400, 500 years. So that system has been in place, and now we're kind of like now breaking out of it slowly. I feel like Silicon Valley is the only place. I mean, not the only,
one
but
of the few
one
places.
of the biggest because half of the world's billionaires are out here. So like we're creating a wave, right? That's what we would call it, right? A wave of people trying to build freedom.
Yeah, and if you're not aware of what's happening, which is why we were creating this content, you're going to get hit by a wave and you will not be able to ride that wave.
Exactly. Like Tesla.
Yeah, like Tesla.
That one's scary.
Yeah, but like speaking about freedom, it's like, there's so many different ways we can go with the freedom subject.
Yeah, I mean,
like, it's more like around like, even thinking space, because if you're working a bunch of different jobs, you can't even think about anything else.
You really can't.
Like I think time is something I think very deeply about is time. There's a great movie called In Time. Justin is with Justin Timberlake, but watch that movie where time is the currency. It really teaches you
I did see that movie.
Amazing.
It's intense.
Like the rich people got nothing but time.
Yeah.
The poor people are running from place to place because they got no time.
And they die if they run out. Yeah.
It's an amazing movie. And the way they exchange time with each other. And
that's really what it is.
If you start applying that in your life, you realize that the great equalizer is time. Everybody has 24 hours in a day. And you start figuring out, that's why I talked about schedule. I was like, bro, you put time in your schedule with me, every day of the week, I will make that time for you. Yeah. And, and as you continue learning things, the value of that time increases or decreases depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, of course.
Right? So going back to the freedom thing, like after quitting my job to build this thing that we're building now, I'm realizing how much of a privilege it is to just even think about how to address this problem and really understand what the problem is. And you cannot create a solution if you don't understand what the problem is. And if a lot of these people are trying to solve problems and don't have the time to think about it, there's issues. But if you have a lot of people that have a little bit of extra time that they can work with each other, you can do a lot of very interesting things. Or if you have limited resources, because we talked about freedom too. It's like if rather than raising a bunch of money, which we could do to like provide basic income for everybody with shelter to be able to think or to live and things like that, which I do think I think Michael Tubbs, Mayor Tubbs in Stockton is doing some interesting things around that. But like if he has a goal of doing something in San Francisco and you have a car, we talked about this, and he doesn't, then he can ride with you. But you don't have a laptop and he does. Now y'all can share.
Exactly.
Right? So how can we share? How can we build? How can we think about how can we exchange value if money didn't exist? And so like through our platforms, I think anytime you have a platform, whether it's if you're an artist, if I'm an artist as a musician, it's your duty to reflect the times and have clear action items for everybody. Even with your events, whatever events that you do, what is the clear action item? Buying your clothes for what? Right? You know, listening to your music for what? To buy more alcohol, to buy more, to go to the club. Like, what's the action item?
It's like a domino.
Is that what you want to continue to promote? That's fine if that's what you want to do. Just be very clear about that. Or, you know, do you want to reflect the times to organize? You know, so whatever that you're doing, just be very clear what those action items are. Something that I suffer with, that I still suffer with now, is I'm excited about so many different things. it's hard for me to stay focused. Now I've realized I'm going to commit my life to help 1 billion people. I used to say in my lifetime, I'm going to do it in 10 years.
Yeah, that's a real goal right there.
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to focus on that. And if I don't hit that, I'll get very close.
The 10X.
10X.
Grant Cardone. Shout out to Grant Cardone right there. So, like, and that's the thing, too, like what I was telling you about. Shout out to Grant Cardone. I saw you take a picture of that sticker.
Like, sell or be sold.
And I feel like that's kind of like my approach with Emlyn, like when it comes to the booking process, because like I see a lot of content in the space. A lot of people like, oh, they're doing interviews, so and so, but they don't put it out till like 2 weeks later, or they just barely have like 3 cool people, and everybody's like random. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna DM 100 people, and I'm gonna see how many of them. I'll close at least 10% of those 100. I get 10 people. I booked 2 out of the past 3 weeks. I already got 6 episodes.
Easy.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's why I told you. Like Sunday, I'm recording 5. Like I already got episodes for the rest of the year already, and I'm gonna keep doing that. And then people was like, damn, how the hell you keep dropping episodes? Because like I just keep racking them up, send it to the team. That's like I couldn't do it if I didn't have a team.
Nah, most
there's no such thing as a self-made person.
Never.
Right? So, yeah.
So there's a segment on the show that we do. It's called "Where Were You At?" And it's a picture that we're gonna put from your Instagram, and I want you to tell us a little story about what happened in this picture right here.
Okay.
So I see you have a picture right here with. Oh, this is
Chadwick Boseman. Where was I at?
Oh no, this one. My bad. I was over here scrolling the wrong one.
Chance the Rapper.
This one.
That was with my buddy Chris Gray. Chris Gray is the CEO of Scally. He's a black guy who was in Philly. Had a single parent mom. I'm probably not going to tell the story perfectly, but essentially he had a situation where he needed to get into school, was able to get a scholarship, and created this app that makes it easy to find, hard to find scholarships into one place. And over the last few years, he's helped people get, I think, $70 million worth of scholarships. And in Chicago, he partnered with Chance the Rapper to give the Scally app away for free to Chicago kids in Chicago public schools that were juniors and seniors. So I was there to do that.
I think that's the whole beauty.
That's a celebrity, right?
That's the beauty of the urban
tech.
That's what I'm saying. That's the beauty of the intersect. Because that's what like we were talking about with Nipsey. Nipsey owns Vector 90, the same thing as WeWorks, but in South Central, like that. And he like prioritizes it for the people that grew up in South Central, but obviously is open to anybody. But the thing is, like, I fucking know about Victor 90. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know about it out here.
About Victor 90. I definitely want to link with Nipsey to talk about that. We're going to do that.
No, we are, bro. I got the wrong date. It was June 26th.
We'll be there. We'll be there.
June 26th. On this next picture I have right here, this is in L.A.
Big Sean.
Yep.
Shout out to Zeno Jones. That's his manager. We were there for the Men of Courage event with Ford, which was pretty cool. And we were talking about we're brainstorming ideas to figure out how to support Detroit and the other places where Ford was to empower black men, not just to become entrepreneurs, but also to break into tech and create these stations where they can like work out of. And we're still thinking about it. I really like Big Sean a lot. I think his Double or Nothing mixtape is amazing. I do want to do a podcast at some point, talking about layoffs and bouncing back, because most startups fail, and a lot of people don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And
they just see that
I've been laid off 3 different times.
Really?
And every time I've bounced back stronger. And it's just a process. So trust your struggle. So even though I haven't done the podcast yet, same thing with my buddy Kevin Aluso, who's a big artist as well. It's like bouncing back.
And Big Sean did drop. Did you hear the the mixtape that has Bigger Than Me, Sacrifices?
Oh yeah,
that was a classic.
Oh, it's amazing.
And
it's amazing.
So you were mentioning that you got laid off 3 times, and you said every single time that you fell off, you bounced back bigger. So tell us a little bit about that process of you mentally, getting yourself physically attached to your mental, like the direction you want to go. Like, what is that process for you? What is the first step, and how do you continue to maintain that direction?
Layoffs are difficult. I would say, like, starting off as a studio musician, I learned a lot about rejection, right? So, like, just like you were DMing a lot of different people, I would DM a lot of people telling them, real strings are better than keyboard strings, so you need me in your studio. And I get rejected by a lot of producers. Same thing with parties, like trying to get different people booked, same type of thing. Same thing with sales, getting a lot of rejection.
Yep.
I'll say the biggest thing for me around layoffs is there's some things that you can control.
Yeah.
There's some things that you can't control. The biggest thing to keep in mind is, like, do your best. If it doesn't work out, it wasn't meant to be. It wasn't the right time.
Yeah.
And the only thing that you do is do your best, wake up with a smile. Wake up, do your best and kind of like watch the movie.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like, what you thought was supposed to be for you ends up being the wrong thing. And a lot of the companies that I got laid off from or that I got rejected from ended up being like companies that are shut down today.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I remember you told me what.
Yeah, most of the companies that I got either laid off from or that I got rejected from either had some kind of crazy scandal, is no longer doing very well, or I was just in the wrong environment and I was going in the wrong direction. And so I kind of see it as God's compass kind of for me.
Yep.
And like if you are not doing your best, then that's a different thing and you're effing up. So you need to figure out what you need to do in order to get better. But if you are doing your best, it's just you're just gonna get lessons on like what you made a mistake on. Like when I was in banking, I didn't realize that in Chicago, everybody was wearing like button-down shirts and slacks, and I would wear suits all the time.
Yeah.
And without saying anything, I looked like a cocky, and so that like rubbed people off the wrong way. But then in Atlanta, everybody's wearing suits, and I was wearing button-down shirts, confused.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of so especially if you never worked in these like super professional environments, you might have all the financial modeling skills and tech skills in the world, but if you don't understand the politics or the culture or the language, you can still get booted out and people not rock with you.
Yeah, it's just like somebody going to jail for the first time, and they're not able to identify themselves as other or black or Mexican or Norte or whatever. Same thing, just a culture shift. Nah, I feel that. That's real, bro. And man, there's so many questions I want to go about this because I feel like there's so much I can get from you right now. Yeah. I actually want to do something new for the first time. My bad. I was actually going to ask one of you guys if you had a question to ask Ruben right now.
Yeah, do it.
I don't know if you guys have a question you want to ask Ruben right now. You want to take advantage of it while you can, since I'm about to go into the conclusion.
Yeah.
I know.
That was a lot.
It was.
You said something. I have a question.
Yeah.
You said something important about referencing like the bourgeoisie type of mentality. But what do you think about also like brain drain? Right, people that come from a certain area. They may get, they may have been, they may have had the parents that were like pushing them to get through school, and then they get to the tech industry,
and then they forget everybody.
Back to, the community.
Yeah,
they're the ones that have the access. Because the family's there, the cousins are there, the peoples are there. Yeah, but they're not using it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point, and just to repeat it, just in case it wasn't caught on the mic, essentially what Omar's saying is like, for someone that grew up, let's just use San Jose for example, and was able to learn the skills that they needed to get the job that they wanted in Silicon Valley or in tech, a lot of time, like sometimes they forget where they came from. It's similar to the music industry as well. I think the answer is obvious, like for like with us, like we want to make sure that as you're going through the process, it's important to always be checking yourself and remember where you came from, and to kind of like, there's a great podcast episode that we actually have with Idaline Bobe that talks a lot about how she left North Philly to bring the laptop. Like she was given the laptop to get out of the hood. Yeah. And then her mom she kind of crowdsourced the laptop by knocking on doors to get the laptop that she needed. Yeah. And then she was bringing it back to her hood. But a lot of people don't have that mindset. I think what the solution is like getting more examples of people that break in, but don't forget where they came from and are still doing the work and not forgetting where they are. Yeah. And it's going to take a lot to do that because like or to do it at the same time in parallel. So like instead of just like working with one person that's in South San Jose to get in, let's get a group of us, and then that group of us on the weekends while we're breaking in, we're still bringing in more. Right. So it's kind of like a staggered approach because like if I just broke in, I'm probably best positioned to help somebody that's breaking in, and the person that just broke in is probably best served by someone that is 6 months ahead of them. So we just have this like helping in kind of like a staggered approach. So let's start with like 5, and then those 5 start bringing in 10, and then you just keep doing it like that. So I think that's the best approach there. But yeah, never forget where you came from. Thank you for calling that out.
No, that's real. That's why I feel like I connected with you really well because you just like, I got no ego, man. I got my socks on right now, I'm chilling right now. We just out here trying to cook.
There's a clip in there talking about the bourgeoisie stuff, like from Malcolm X, where it talks about like not wasting his time on 125th Street. I can't quote it by name, but like if you're if you chop up the video later, I think having that clip in there somewhere, even if it's at the end, is going to be fire. It's something I watch a lot because there's more people in the streets. Yeah. Like if you think about the 1%, there's more people on the outside. We don't need to beg and plead and say, please diversify the companies, please do that. After that, like we should create it. Let's just build ourselves.
One more thing I would like to point out concerning what he said about 125th Street. We don't waste our time on 125th Street, but you can reach more people in the street who want to change than you can in the bourgeoisie society, the bourgeoisie church, and the bourgeoisie circles. Our program is directed toward the man in the street. So we spend our time in the street, and what we do with that man, instead of trying to change the white man in your mind, make you accept us, we change the mind of the black man and make him accept himself. And as soon as he accepts himself, he'll solve his own problem. He won't be trying to force himself into your factory and into your bedroom and into your kitchen.
I think like we've all been through different problems and issues, and so whatever we should address is either if most people aren't built to be entrepreneurs, first of all, which is another reason why Gary and I are very different. Yeah. And well, no, he says this too. And a lot of times people are going to be entrepreneurs, but like instead of being, if you're not an entrepreneur and somebody is an entrepreneur, just align with someone that is like you solving a problem that you care about, that you grew up with, that could be your best friend, that you had the skills with, and you can be part of their team. Yeah. Right. You know, the problem right now is like we have limited options, and a lot of people don't know how to raise money. They're like, oh man, we need more black investors, which is true. Yeah. But they're like, can you just introduce me to investors? I was like, you haven't built anything and you have no traction. Yeah, that's not going to get their attention.
You're trying to buy more than what they can chew.
Yeah, like you got to know how the game works. That's not how the game works. Yeah. You have to launch. You know, you can't just get invested by an idea. Some people can. No, yeah. But most of the time, you're gonna have to work.
No, that's real. I feel like, yeah.
Just like you said, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna launch this podcast, and then the next thing you know, you got a podcast. Same thing I told people. Now I'm gonna write this article. Boom, boom. Just like I said, I'm gonna build this next company. I'm gonna have 1 billion people. Yep. I'm not gonna talk to you until I have some proof that's starting to show that. And then when you figure out what I'm building, then everybody's gonna know.
Yeah, exactly.
And then we're gonna launch it on MLN exclusive.
Everybody gonna launch it together, man, as a whole. Yeah. So yeah, this is the last segment I want to conclude with. So this is an opportunity that you get to talk to the audience. You know what I'm saying? These people, they're gonna be coming from, you know, music, art, fashion. Some people that watch, they're just very diverse group from San Jose and Oakland. So what is some message that you want to tell a young entrepreneur, somebody maybe in the promoting space, somebody that came in the same way you did? What is a message you want to tell them in taking the first step of either starting or continuing, even though it's getting tough?
I think it starts off with education and just like leaders being leaders. A lot of times people just jump into like starting a company or building a team to start doing podcasts first. And it's very important to really study the game and study other people that you're inspired by first before attacking. And I do agree that you should launch very quickly, but people that wrote books for you essentially condensed years of knowledge into 2 hours. Like literally you can create your playbook by like reading like 5 books, like very well selected books. Yeah. And then start applying those lessons.
There's millions of books.
Yeah, like if you want to start thinking about tech and startups, like from an entrepreneurship perspective, read the Lean Startup and think deeply about like MVPs and validated learning and like, you know, how to run experiments. Read about A/B testing. Read a lot of stuff like that. Read 0 to 1. If you want to learn the game, listen to the podcast.
Yeah. No, for real. Honestly,
that's why we made it. Like I can do things like this, or you can listen to things from time to time. I can write different things, but I literally have content, like hours and hours of content that is not just educational, but those people are actually people that you can reach out to, and they're all top. We got the head of growth of Instagram in there. We got like all these different people that are there that will respond to you if you're like, yo, I listen to your podcast, and make sure you listen to the things that are personal and about the person and try to connect on a personal level that you also have versus a professional level. Because everybody's trying to like connect on professional level, be like, oh yeah, I know how to code. Can I get a job? Like, nah, just be like, oh yeah, you grew up in San Jose, so did I. Get the hell out of here. Yeah. That's going to get their attention way more than like just saying that you're Bay Area native it's like a point of
contact.
contact.
For
It's a
real?
point
Like,
of
what part of
connection.
the Bay you from? Nah,
Yeah, it's like
real. Yeah.
Most people that are working in tech aren't from the Bay. So when you say that, they're like, damn, like you're a unicorn.
Nah, yeah. That's facts, bro.
You know, everybody's trying to spend time trying to assimilate. Everybody's trying to spend time trying to be like everybody else.
Yep.
But if you spend being weird just means different,
Yeah.
right?
It is.
Right?
It is.
So stop trying to be like everybody else.
Nah.
And like,
I like being
and I
called
would say,
Get free all the time.
embrace that difference, and like that's actually going to be a superpower. The fact that you have been through a bunch of different things, own that, don't hide that. That's going to be what makes you different, and that's also going to lead you to the ultimate problems that you're going to solve and be aligned with. And then when you have your big vision for yourself, when you start with your strategic starting point, go back to where you grew up with the South San Jose, right? Even when you make it all the way and you figure out the problem you want to align with, and you want to start from the beginning, start where you grew up. Start with where you've been through.
Yeah. I feel like, you know, on a networking end, kind of like I feel like Resonate with networking, is just being genuine and authentic, you know? I feel like that's how we connected, because I was just
It
like, I
is.
came in my J's, I came in my sweats, like, hey, what's
Yeah.
up, bro? Like,
Yeah.
I see you
Yeah.
at the workshop,
Yeah.
like, what's up?
I mean,
Nah, I really did, though. I really
No,
did.
real talk. Like literally
He's
next
like-
day, hit the text, and then like I didn't answer the text, and he's like, "I'm at the door." I was like, "Word." I was like, "All right, cool." Like, so.
All right, so this is the audio end, so this is going to go into the conclusion. Video's already done.
Yeah.
So we're going to just do it a little ad-lib right now. So,
Yeah.
So your handles, Instagram, where can they find you?
It's Ruben Harris, RubenHarris, on every platform: Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I don't really use Snapchat that much, but you can add me on Snapchat.
Just the plates.
And then Everest 10X on everything else. That's for breaking into startups. And then Emlyn, EMLN
Emlyn
Labs. Yeah,
Emlyn
and
Labs in the building.
BQ25 on Twitter. Is that what it is?
Yeah, BQ_25.
25.
So yeah, man, that's it. Thank you, Ruben, for coming down. I appreciate it.
Likewise.
And that's Ruben. It's BQ. It ain't exclusive. It ain't exclusive. And we out.
Out.